Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. Today we are taking a look at the Boston Bruins and some potential players that could be available this summer for them, whether it's a trade, whether it's free agency. We're going to take a look at them today and who could be a great asset for them to add this summer. We're going to take a look at that. So, without further ado, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys are picking up anything on the shop.nhl.com, either app or the website, use the link down below. If you copy and paste that, put into your web browser, I get commission from that. So thank you to the NHL for that sponsorship. It's been going well so far. And like I said, if you're already going to the NHL shop to buy things, I always put that in the description down below. So that out of the way, let's take a look at the Bruins and who could be available. Now, if you look at the thumbnail, that's already a little bit of a teaser into what we're going to talk about today, because I think that some of the things the Bruins are looking for this summer are a combination of scoring, center depth, and guys with experience, specifically lifting the Lord Stanley's Cup over their head. And I think they could kind of address all of that this summer. Everything is available for the Bruins this summer. And the Bruins are one of those teams, an original six franchise, historic, right? You look at all the banners up there at TD Garden. This is a team that is going to be able to have their pick of the litter in terms of who they want. And I think, depending on what happens with Linus Ullmark, I've already made that video. I'll probably put a link to that, one of the cards up here at the top of the video. I'll let you guys know, talking about Ullmark in that situation. And kind of going with that, I think the first option we're going to go here is via trade. And in a trade situation for a guy like Ullmark, I would love to see a guy like Marty Necas come to Boston, right? That would be an incredible trade. And you think about the connection between him and Pasternak, right? That would be lethal. And I think with everything we've heard about Necas recently, his dad, some of the people he's known, even in the locker clean-out, Necas kind of said, no, I'm kind of okay if I get traded, if I'm not here next year, and that's kind of sad, but I think he knows, and I think most of us know, there's more potential from Marty Necas. And if he is going to be a guy that stays in Carolina, he wants to know I'm going to get more opportunities to play my game. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think if he goes to a place like Boston, I think that's a great place for him to go. Looking at some of the free agent options, they're not as exciting, but they're good options that they need. I think this is... you look at like when they got Pat Maroon or when they brought back Luch, right? This is the type of player that kind of comes in and just fills out a spot in your role for cheap. And not necessarily Patrick Kane is that player, but Patrick Kane is a guy that I think they could be pursuing, right? You look at a guy that can score goals, add some depth to your lineup, has the veteran pedigree experience, all of that. He's a guy that I think the Bruins should absolutely be looking toward. Jonathan Marchessault, I think, is a really interesting one as well, because Marchessault is the type of player that, if you're looking at, again, you're looking at pedigree and the ability to win Stanley Cups, score the big goals. Marchessault has done that in his entire career, whether it was with the Florida Panthers, whether it was the Tampa Bay Lightning, or the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a guy that can play. He's a gamer, especially come playoff time. The Bruins need more of that, and he fits that bill perfectly. He'll be a UFA on July 1st. Bruins management, there's your guy. Another guy I'd like to mention is Chandler Stevenson. And Chandler Stevenson's name has been brought up. I want to give credit where it's due. Who brought this up? It was Elliot Friedman was saying that he thinks the Bruins could pursue Stevenson. So it's not that they have, it's that they should. Absolutely agree with that. A two-way center. Maybe if you swing out and miss on a guy like Marty Necas, maybe you look in free agency at a guy like Stevenson. Vegas doesn't have the money for him. Marchessault and Stevenson, maybe they both come to Boston, right? You bring them in a package deal over this summer. But the way I look at the Bruins right now, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for what I talked about in the beginning. Scoring, right? That clutch goal-scoring ability. Forward depth, right? Just forward depth in general. And guys that can play center. Because I think the criticism going into this season, you look at the jersey I'm wearing today, you can't really see the numbers. When they lost Krejci and Bergeron, last summer. That was a big hole for them to kind of, and as good as Coyle and Zaka were down the middle, let's be honest, that's not the same as what they had with Krejci and Bergeron. So I think adding guys like Stevenson, who has proven he could be a top six center, Marty Necas, who I think still has something to prove, but I think we all know that's there. It's just he hasn't really been able to do it yet in Carolina. So when you talk about those types of players, I think that is exactly what the Boston Bruins need this summer. And like I said, I want to give credit where it's due. The Athletic and Elliot Friedman giving some of these recommendations for guys that should be or could be pursued by the Boston Bruins this summer. I'll also give a shout out to another guy that could come back, maybe to Boston, Tyler Bertuzzi. I think he enjoyed his time in Boston. They weren't able to find a way to make it work in terms of money and salary and things like that. He's a UFA, again, July 1st of this year from the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if he doesn't return to Toronto, which I don't think he will, maybe he comes back to Boston. Maybe he comes back to run the show again. He had a great experience during that time, despite losing in the first round to Florida. I think he had a really good time in Boston. And he just seems like a guy that just fits on the Boston Bruins. He does. He fits that team. He fits the mold of what they're about. And that's kind of what you're getting. And I think he's maybe not so much the goal-scoring aspect of it, but if you add these combinations of players in some way or form, I think that's a win for the Boston Bruins. And I'd love to know what you guys think, because I think the Boston Bruins are right there, right? They lost in the second round to the Panthers this year, but I think they are that close. If they can add another scoring winger and another legitimate center to play top 6 minutes that can eat that up, is very good reliably defensively, can score goals, that's the chef's kiss for the Bruins. I think the recipe it seems so far, but it's also so close for the Bruins. And you got to remember, like I said, this was a retool year for the Bruins, and they made it to the second round of the playoffs. That's pretty impressive. And they played against a very competent, solid Florida Panthers team. Like I said, they're right there. And depending on what they get for Linus Ullmark and some of the moves they make this summer, could be an interesting year. Also, I consider guys like Fabian Lysell, alongside Linus Ullmark. We're all talking about how they're going to trade Ullmark. Is there a way maybe they trade a guy like that? Fabian Lysell doesn't seem to be in the favors of this Bruins management right now, so maybe we'll see something get done there. Like I said, thank you so much for watching this video, and like I said earlier, make sure to check out our sponsorships down below. If you're either a hockey player, we've got a pure hockey deal with the NHL. We've got another deal at shop.nhl, so whether you're looking for NHL merchandise or you're buying your hockey equipment for the summer or going into next season, all the links and the discounts to all of that are down below. I appreciate your guys' support as always. You guys are awesome. I really enjoy all the support recently. The channel's been doing really well through the playoffs, and things might lighten up a little bit here over the summer. I don't like to call it the off season, but things are happening in my life, and it's just going to be crazy. So I'll post as many videos as I possibly can, but it's going to be a crazy summer. So I'll do what I can, but we're going to have to work with what we can. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Peace out, guys.